Alrighty, welcome back to the J Center podcast. Owen Hill, joined by Jesse Burrell as always. And Jesse, you can stop me if you've heard this before, but the Blue Jays lose 2 of 3. They fall to, 8-13 now. That's like a 62 win pace. And it's their 6th straight series loss. They won today, and it feels good. Like I'm in a much better mood than I've been the last few times when we've recorded right after losses. But Jesse, it's feeling bleak. 62 win pace is not something I can handle much longer.
Yeah, it's really been a whirlwind of a roller coaster that we're really going through the day by day. Like game 1 of this series, we lose, and that's tough. Game 2, we have a fighting chance late, and then Jeff Hoffman blows up, and now we're all mad at the Blue Jays again. And just when you think vibes can't get any worse, they go off for a franchise-tying 8 runs in the first inning in the game today. Everybody's getting hits. Everybody's scoring runs. Vibes are great again. Everyone's having a good time. And it's just, we're kind of feeling somewhat better about the Blue Jays losing a series here. It's very funny how when the wins happen in a series can really affect our mood as Blue Jays fans. But at the end of the day, you're right. Another series loss. It's still tough. Still a long way to go to climb back into this for our Blue Jays.
Yeah, definitely a little bit of whiplash. I went to bed upset the last 2 nights, and then tonight I think I'm going to go to bed with a little bit of a smile on my face. We said last time we talked, like the Jays just need a laugh or they need an easy one. That's exactly what they got. Shout out to Kevin Gausman. It can be really hard to pitch in blowout games. Like your team scores 8 runs in the first inning, you're staked to an 8-0 lead before you even take the hill. All you have to do is go out there and throw strikes. And his velo was down. Like I don't think he had his best stuff, but he really battled, got you through 6 innings, saved the bullpen. Really just like tip your cap to the veteran Kevin Gausman today. And obviously we're going to tip our caps to the offense. Whenever you can score 10 runs, we're going to take that, right?
Yeah. Kevin Gausman is probably not the lead or the main talking point from this series, but it would be the J Center podcast if we didn't at least push the lead back down a little bit. So I will give some credit to Kevin Gausman too. This is exactly what your ace pitcher is supposed to do, right? Your team is reeling. You need to come on out. And even though he had the bats in behind him, and for the first time all year, I'd say, honestly, they got some runs for Kevin Gausman. He was able to come in and shut the door down, and that's what your ace pitcher is supposed to do. So kudos to Kevin Gausman.
Yeah, okay. So if we're going to get to the lead right away, I'm going to push the envelope here. Are you getting a little bit worried that it's not hurting as much when they lose? Like, are you getting comfortable with these losses? Because I kind of am. I'm going to tell you right now, Jeff Hoffman gave up that grand slam to Corbin Carroll in the 8th inning of the second game of the series, and I turned it off and went to bed, and I did not lose a second of sleep over that.
We were a little different after the Jeff Hoffman grand slam. I was at the office. I was at work, and I had the game on TV, and everyone at my work knows how big of a Blue Jays fan I am and whatnot. I was in the break room. Jeff Hoffman gives up the home run. I immediately turn off the TV, and the whole break room just goes silent because they don't know how I'm going to react. I walk out. I get back onto the floor. I see my supervisor sitting me and just staring at me with a blank face. And I looked at her and I goes, Jeff Hoffman has made me angry, and just kept walking away off the floor. So I don't think then, to answer your question, I'm getting used to this or a sort of comfort. I do understand that's where our expectations, I suppose, are lowering. So when disappointment does happen, which has happened quite a bit for the Blue Jays this year, it doesn't hit as hard. So I'm not there yet, but I think I'm getting there.
Yeah, okay. I'm getting kind of sick of like it's early talk from baseball fans, and we do this every year, but it's not early when you can like basically play yourself out of a race in 21 games. It's been like 3 weeks of baseball, and the Jays have work to do. And like I'm sure there's going to be a stretch where they win a lot more than they lose. There's a very talented team still. They're going to get healthy at some point, hopefully, and that's soon. But I think it's just like it's frustrating how like they just lost another series, and we're in better moods today because they just put a thumping on the Diamondbacks and they scored a whole bunch of runs, and hopefully that's a sign of things to come. But the start of the series was more the same, like only 3 runs in game 1. Like the offense was like pretty terrible. Like Vladdy's making errors at first base. Like Varsho's leaving the game injured. And like the only offense is coming on a Miles Straw home run. Like that's the stuff that we're ending up with. And in the second game is more of the same. Like you're in a nail biter, a 2-2 game, and then you bring in the guy who's supposed to be your best reliever. And obviously, like we talk about it, he just does not have I don't even know if it was it. Like, he had nothing. He looked dead on the mound. It looked inevitable that he was going to give up the big hit. And that's exactly what he did. Like, you managed 12 hits in that second game, and 11 of them were singles. You didn't walk once, one extra base hit. Like, that's not a formula to win games, Jesse.
I agree. And the Blue Jays have, I don't have this exact number, but it feels like we've lost more games when Jeff Hoffman has pitched versus in the games we've won, which as your closer, that is not what you want to see, and whatnot. I do have some outward thoughts before we dive deep into Jeff Hoffman. I want to touch on those quick, and then we can dive into Hoff here. But the playoff odds dropped below 33% now. And as you mentioned, this is 6 straight series losses for the Toronto Blue Jays, which now that ties a franchise record, I believe it was. Maybe one of the worst to start the season. And the Blue Jays have never made the playoffs in their first 20 games starting with 8 wins or fewer. They never have. So that's not a good sign either if you're looking at Blue Jays franchise history and whether that means for our playoffs. So there's that. Do you have a thought on that before we go blaming Jeff Hoffman for why we're not making the playoffs this year?
I don't have any good thoughts on that, Jesse.
Perfect.
Like that sucks, dude. Like, and I think that if any team could do it, it's this team, because Lenin Sosa is probably not going to be on the major league roster much longer. Eloy Jimenez probably not on the major league roster much longer. And like, these guys have actually both been okay. Like, but you know what I'm trying to get at? Like, Pat Corbin, maybe not on the roster much longer. Well, we're going to get to Eric Lauer later in this episode. And trust me, I think you and I both have thoughts on him. But like, he's probably not going to be in the starting rotation much longer. So like, there is a light at the end of the tunnel, and there's talent coming to help this team. The issue is I'm actually very worried at this hole, because the hole that they've dug, because you saw in 2021 they dug themselves a hole and they got stupid hot. They were the hottest team in baseball when the season ended, and they missed the playoffs by 1 game. And like, they'd have to play really well down the stretch. And I know we're not there yet, but they'd have to play really well to like get that close to miss by 1 game at this point.
Yeah, we have no margin for error, and we need that kind of magic that pushed the Blue Jays into the World Series and to win the division last year to kind of come back in the second half. And Owen, you and I have watched a lot of baseball over the years. That is a lot to ask for the Toronto Blue Jays here. So we will see. The Blue Jays just did it, so there is that. But you really need to get on a good run here. A good week, like a 5-2 week, will really go a long way to helping this Blue Jays get back there. But it's got to happen sooner rather than later.
Right. Yeah, so you're 8-13 right now. Well, you're 8-13 right now. You go, what is it, like 7-2 over a stretch? Like, that's pretty reasonable. Like, lots of teams do that. That happens all the time. You're back at 500 and you're right where, maybe not where you want it to be, but you're where you need it to be. And you're only getting healthier from here, right? Hopefully Vlad's keeping his fingers out of guys' shirts and not hurting himself. And Varsho stays, like, wrap this whole team in bubble wrap. Maybe Nathan Lucas is, I don't know how you heal vertigo. I guess we're going to get to that too. But hopefully he's feeling better, and like, this team can just get back to doing what we expected them to do. And today, this 10-4 victory over the Diamondbacks, that was a good start.
Yes. I have one more note before we dive into player specifics here. I thought the kind of summary of the whole Blue Jays season happened late in game 1 against the Diamondbacks in this series, they play the ground ball to first that Vladimir Guerrero Jr. scooped, went to throw it to Spencer Miles, but he dropped the ball. Miles had it in his glove too on the ground, picked it up, and then he also dropped it. 2 runs scored for the Diamondbacks to push it to 5-2. Literally the top of the next half inning, the Blue Jays have a play. They hit a hard ground ball to second. Their second baseman boots it a little bit, but it goes right to Geraldo Perdomo, who picks it up and turns a double play. It's like, come on. The Blue Jays have a ball where they fumble it, 2 run score for the other team. The other team does, it turns right into a double play. Like, if that's not a symbol of the Toronto Blue Jays season so far, I don't know what is.
I could not have said it better myself, Jesse. I think you hit the nail on the head there, my man. Like, that's just the way things have been going, and like, they feel beat from when the games start. And I'm saying that after a 10-4 win, but It feels like the team is so easy to beat right now, and it feels like the other teams don't even have to try, because the ball is going to bounce their way, and something's going to go wrong for the Jays. And sometimes in baseball, like, that's just how it feels for extended periods of time. Like, I can name countless times it's felt like that. It felt like that towards the end of 2025 when the Yankees had the easiest schedule in baseball and the Jays had a hard schedule late in September, and they were blowing the division lead, and the Yankees ended up tying them. And then all of a sudden the Jays swept the Rays, 1 out, ended up winning the AL East, and we know what happened from there. So this will happen from time to time. It really sucks when, and this is the only thing we have to measure the 2026 Blue Jays by, is this pretty awful stretch of play. but I promise you there will be a good stretch of play at some point. And if that starts right now, right after this win that they picked up today, hey, we could be having a lot more positive conversations going forward.
Yeah, every season has that one game where things turn around and they spark. We remember the Bo Bichette home run in Texas that really got the Blue Jays going. I don't think this massive outburst will be the one that gets us going, but you never know. It might. If the hitting really starts going from this point on, maybe it will be something. And then we're all giving praise to Nathan Lucas, Vertigo Doctor, about the reason why we turned the team around. So we'll see. We're going to be looking for that type of victory, and maybe this one in the finale was the one that got us there.
Okay, so do you want to bury Jeff Hoffman first, or do you want to do some positive Nathan Lucas talk?
No, Jeff Hoffman. Let's get into it because he's been like the talk of the Blue Jays like landscape so far. And you and me have come on this pod, at least I know I have, and I was like, no, Jeff Hoffman's still the guy. I believe in him so much. Oh, and I'm pretty sure I said that 3 days ago when we recorded our last episode. My thoughts have changed a little bit, and I'll get into it here too. But I want to hear what you think about Jeff Hoffman now after another very dreadful outing.
Well, it's hard for me to even form a take other than like it can't happen anymore, dude. Like I don't know how this happens to him, and his stuff was way down in that outing. He clearly from the jump did not have it. He's giving up hits. He gave up one hit on a pitch that was like up and out of the strike zone, like not even close to striking. He's giving up hits. Like it seems like Jeff Hoffman is kind of like the crux of the Blue Jay season because like anything that can go wrong will go wrong every time he pitches, and I don't understand. And like you feel it when you're at the ballpark and he comes into the game, and I get that's not recent to this road trip that they've been on and what he's been doing, but the crowd does not like to see Jeff Hoffman come in. Jeff Hoffman comes in, he throws a first pitch ball. All of a sudden you're hearing groans and some guy behind you saying, "Get this bum out of the closer spot and bring back Jordan Romano." Like that's the kind of takes that we're getting at the ballpark, and like he lets that first guy get on, and like people are trying to like get up out of their seats. Like people hate watching him pitch. Jesse, people are really upset with Jeff Hoffman. Like you look on Twitter after these games, like they're done with him. And you and I are both more rational than that, I like to think. But I have a hard time arguing. I don't know who else does the closer's job. I don't know what you do with Jeff Hoffman if it's not him, because they paid him a whole bunch of money and he's here at least next year as well, if not the year after too. So like I don't know, Jesse. I don't have the answer, and like I'm hoping you do.
One more year for Hoffman after this one. I have some theories, and I'll get to them here. I do want to shout out. I heard someone suggest maybe we should just trade Jeff Hoffman for the current version of Troy Tulowitzki, the guy who hasn't played in like 3 years, and maybe that'll help the Blue Jays play better. Which I say it tongue in cheek, but it did make me laugh. We could maybe do that again. I'm with you though, dude. I think I've seen enough. Look, Jeff Hoffman is still probably one of the best relievers on this team. John Schneider even backed him because John Schneider kind of has to back him going forward. I did think, Owen, we were starting to see a shift. Like John Schneider brought Jeff Hoffman in game 2 in a 2-2 game. Still a very high leverage spot. When the Blue Jays aren't scoring runs, every relief appearance is going to be a high leverage spot. But he came in and he faced 8-9-1 in the order. So I thought, okay, this is going to be very good. This is a good opportunity to try to get Jeff Hoffman right. But he's not throwing strikes. I believe his first pitch strike rate is way down, especially with the slider and the splitter. He's not throwing strikes with either of those pitches. So teams are sitting on the fastball and they're crushing the fastball. And you were talked about that hit that Alek Thomas had, that fastball way up on the zone. And I get it. It seems unlucky. That's not the first time he's given up a hit on a pitch like that this season. I wonder if it's a tell or he just needs to start throwing those off-speed pitches in the zone more so hitters can get off of the fastball. But it has been a big problem with Jeff Hoffman. And I got so much more I could get into, but I'll start with there. I'll let you react on that. And I think that needs to be fixed before he gets better.
No, you're 100% right. And you can tell right away with him. And like I said, when people get mad at the stadium, it's when he throws a first pitch ball. It's because he doesn't have it right by watching his first splitter. Mm-hmm. If his first splitter sails up and away and it's less than 90, you're in for a rough one with Jeff Hoffman. Because I don't know why, but I have not seen him have a good slider in a long time. Do you remember the last time Jeff Hoffman came out with just a nasty slider? Because early in his Blue Jays tenure, and even when you kind of figured it out last summer and in the playoffs, he had that nasty slider going. I haven't seen that from him in a while, and he becomes super reliant on that splitter. And the splitter is such a hit or miss pitch for him. I feel like he's not comfortable with his grips or something. And then the fastball velo is now down as 95, 96. Jeff Hoffman's supposed to be like 97, 98, 99. And that's not what we're seeing. And like, I feel bad for the guy. And like, I don't want to do like game 7 on the World Series talk, but like, I think it's just a lot of people, and I don't know if it's fair or not, but they'll never be able to get over that appearance, that inning, that Miguel Rojas home run that like haunts my dreams, and like I still lose sleep over. And it's not like a mad at Jeff Hoffman thing for me personally, but for a lot of people, I think it is. And I don't think that's fair, but that's the matter of fact is like, that's how people are going to think. And to be honest, like I have a hard time blaming them because he's not doing anything to make up for it at this point.
Right. And like, there are people out there that want to back Jeff Hoffman and really do it. And it's making it really hard right now. I wonder if he just needs some sort of like mental reset, if you will. Like, there's a lot of pressure blowing that lead in the World Series. Like, Jeff Hoffman is going to be known by a lot of casual Blue Jays fans as just that guy who cost the Blue Jays the World Series. There's a lot that goes into that mentally from Jeff Hoffman. And the fact that he struggled now so far to begin this season too is really tough for him as well. And maybe just getting something to ease the mental load would really help Jeff Hoffman. You did mention there the stuff plus on the slider. I have the numbers to back it up, man. His 2 years in Philly, 116, 114, dropped to 109 last year, just to 101 this year. And you usually see stuff plus higher than 100 on slider. So it's actually been like maybe just a league average slider. The stuff plus on the splitter is down. At least the fastballs remain quite the same, but the location's gotten a little bit worse with the fastball. So those metrics are a little down for Jeff Hoffman. If you want to look at something positive, no, I'll save the positive for the end and the conclusion of Jeff Hoffman. Those are some red flags there for Jeff.
Okay. That's good stuff. Do we have the fastball velo? Like, it's got to be down, right? Like,
I can find that quickly.
It's actually up 0.2 miles an hour. So that
yeah, so what does that tell
things
you?
that don't pass the eye test. There you go. Okay, so you and I have a very thankless job because our job is to like give takes and give our opinions on players, and we do it every 3 days. We've been doing it after every series. And it's designed for us to be wrong. We're never going to like nail every single take. We're going to say something.
Right.
You and I both came on here last time and backed Jeff Hoffman, and we were immediately proved wrong. I think we're burying him now. He's going to prove us right at some point. There will be a point, whether it's this season or next, or whether it's this week or next, Jeff Hoffman will kind of sort it out and he'll be hot again, and everyone will be back on the Jeff Hoffman bandwagon. He's the nastiest reliever in baseball and all that kind of stuff. Okay, we're gonna have this exact same conversation with guys that like I personally have come on this podcast and buried, and I have apologies to give out later in this episode to Kaz Okamoto and Nathan Lucas. And like, it's hard for people like us and people in general who are baseball fans to be right all the time because the sample sizes are so large and we base our opinions off the tiniest ones. And what have you done for me lately? What's going on recently? So is this the end of Jeff Hoffman? I don't think so, but I think you're right, dude. Like, I need to see something different at this point. For what it's worth, John Schneider says he's going to ride with him. I don't think John Schneider would come out and say publicly that they're shifting a closer. I think we'd see that in an actual game situation when it's Louis Varland that comes out in the bottom of the ninth to protect a 2-run lead instead of Hoffman. But I think that's where we're at this point. And if Jeff Hoffman comes out next time, I'm going to be optimistic about it, but I would not be disappointed to see a Louis Varland, I guess.
Yeah, I still think Jeff Hoffman's one of the best pitchers in our bullpen, but I do think a shakeup, a quick break, just to get some confidence under his belt will help him pitch a little better. So I agree. Some positives, Owen. I did say I was going to mention it here. His strikeout per 9 is still upwards of like 20, still one of the best in all of baseball. His strand rate is currently at 55%. That's closer to 70 for his career. You can expect regression to that mean. Home run to fly ball rate is sitting at over like a third of his fly balls have turned into home runs on the season. That's closer to 15% for his career. That'll regress. The expected ERA is sitting at 2.62 opposed to his actual ERA, which is close to 8. The walks are high, yes, but he's rocking a 550 BABIP right now. Like 55% of the balls hit against him end up in play. And that doesn't include the home runs he's given up. So that's a number that surely will come down to league average a little bit. It's a tough watch right now. Owen, before we move on from Jeff Hoffman, one more thought. Game tomorrow night, Blue Jays have a 1-run lead, top of the Angels order, including Mike Trout is coming up in here. What's your pecking order? Like, do you go assume Dylan Cease has gone 8 shutout innings, but he has to be pulled. Bullpen's fresh. Who's getting that 9th right now?
So you put me in the impossible situation that they're paying John Schneider lots of money to make that decision, and I kind of resent you for that. I
Asking you
think
the tough questions here, Owen.
I think that you send out Jeff Hoffman. I like he's being paid the money to do it. I don't like Louis Varland. Like Louis Varland gives up a lot of home runs too. Like, and he's been really good this season. But it's like I just said, like anytime we give a take, like we're bound to be proven wrong eventually, and we're bound to be proven right eventually. Like all we can do is react to what we've seen. And like I've seen Jeff Hoffman be really good. I think maybe I'm talking myself out of it, but if it's me, I'm sending out Hoffman. Who are you sending?
I'm sending out Hoffman as well, but I wouldn't mind seeing Varland get out there. Like I think if I was ranking purely the best relievers that I have confidence in the Blue Jays bullpen, Hoffman might be 4th or 5th right now on that list, which is a little different than the situation I just lined out for you. But if we were doing like confidence meters and how we feel about the pen guys, yeah, Hoffman 5th or 6th on that list.
Okay, so Louis Varland over Jeff Hoffman.
Yeah, Tyler Rogers as well.
Okay, Braden Fisher over Jeff Hoffman.
I think so right now, yes.
Okay, Flu Hardy over Hoffman.
I'd be putting Flu Hardy there, and then that's where my list stops.
Flu Hardy gave up a 2-run homer today. Obviously not leverage, but like I don't know. Flu Hardy's been fine. I don't think Flu Hardy's been special. Anyways,
yes,
Hoffman's been less than fine.
Flu Hardy's not saving games for me. I'll tell you that. So
yeah, no. Okay, well, unless you're in Dodger Stadium. Okay, so from there, do we want to bury Eric Lauer for bad media training, or can we do some positives?
No, well, we're just getting the trash talk. Let's get all the negatives out of the way, just like the Blue Jays did in the series. All the bad stuff come first. We'll hammer that out, and then we'll end with the good stuff. So that way we feel good going into next week's episode. So let's get on Eric Lauer here.
Okay, so Eric Lauer, after his, I was going to say start, but it was not a start, and that is the key of this quote I'm going to give here. On the opener, he said, "To be blunt, I hate it. I can't stand it. Hopefully, it's not something that we will continue doing, but that's above my pay grade." That quote came after the Blue Jays lost. What was it? That was the 6-2 game after Braden Fisher opened for him. Lauer gave up 3 runs in 5 innings. Didn't look great yet again. Do you have thoughts on that quote from Eric Lauer, Jesse? Because I know I do.
I do as well. He's very much right. It isn't part of his pay grade, and this is not his decision to make. Eric Lauer has whined a lot in the past about not being a starter. He's finally gotten his opportunity, and he's whining again, and he's not pitching well. And what did Josh Donaldson say? Like, it's not the try league, it's the get it done league. And if you want to be able to say stuff to the media like this, you have to have a better than a 7.13 ERA on the season. Like, I am sorry, Eric Lauer, but get out there, do your job, help the team win. Complaining to the media is not going to make things look better for you.
Were you looking for, if you don't like it, pitch better?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. If your ERA starts with a 7, and I get we're dealing with small sample sizes and you were good last year, but if that's where your ERA is out on the season, maybe you should keep your mouth shut about that kind of thing. And I don't think we're blaming you getting to face the Diamondbacks' 4 best hitters one time less on your poor performance, Eric Lauer. Like, you get to prepare the same. You're not even in arbitration anymore at this point. I think honestly his value is probably better knowing that he can do both. He can start and come out of the bullpen. Like, it's like that Ross Stripling type of role. Like, those guys are very, very valuable. Teams pay for that kind of stuff. I'm looking at the Yankees and Ryan Yarbrough last year. Like, teams want that. And if you can do that, that's a real asset for your organization and your team that you're playing for. And instead, Eric Lauer's carrying out his pride and ego on the mound. And I'm sorry, man, but like he's got a 7.13 ERA. He's walking almost 13% of his hitters. He's given up more than 2 homers per 9. His fastball velo is down more than an hour this season, or a mile an hour this season. Like, he's been nothing but just complaining since spring training started. The team has been bad, and he's not being part of the solution. He's causing like drama, for lack of a better word, in this clubhouse. Like, the last thing that John Schneider needs to deal with right now is Eric Lauer, the guy who's supposed to not even be a starter on this team. The last thing he needs to deal with is him complaining. And I'm sick of hearing him whine about this kind of stuff, Jesse.
Yeah, he's mad that he lost his arbitration case because the Blue Jays didn't make him a starter. It's like, come on now, man. That he probably even realized, I'm 31 years old. I'm coming off my first real good season after spending some years in Korea. This was my real only chance to make money. I mean, you're still making close to $4 million, I believe. Like, get in there and take it, Eric Lauer. Like, you got to do a little better than this. I had something good in there, but I lost it, and maybe I'll come back to find it on Eric Lauer. But it's dreadful right now.
Yeah, so John Schneider commented on what he said. He said Eric Lauer's right. It is above his pay grade. So I kind of like Schneider sticking up for himself and the organization better there. Like, I really do like that. I think that's kind of the right thing to do. Like, John Schneider does not have to take that. He should have been the manager of the year last year. He's from all reports, anything that you've heard about John Schneider's clubhouses is he runs a very tight ship. He's got happy players. And the players are probably the key to that. If he didn't have an awesome team in 2025, maybe it doesn't go as well for him. I don't think a manager is the key that ties everything together. But at the same time, he deserves so much better than Eric Lauer going out to the media and complaining. We got to keep that kind of thing in house because you and I are wasting our breath on it, and we should be talking about how bad the Jays have been, and instead we're wasting our time talking about Eric Lauer and how his feelings are about if he starts or comes out of the bullpen.
Yeah, kudos to John Schneider. He's handled this perfectly well. I really do like what he's done here. I don't think much of what happened as the season has fallen on him. And when you really listen to what Eric Lauer is saying here when he speaks about, is he trying to argue that, no, I would have pitched better if I got to face Ketel Marte and Corbin Carroll and Geraldo Perdomo another time? I would have definitely had a better outing. It's no, you wouldn't have. The Blue Jays are actively trying to make you pitch better too. And if you pitch better, guess what, Lauer? You get paid more money. So get out there, do your job. The Blue Jays are trying to help you. Accept the help and get better, or else be gone with it.
Yeah, I hate it. And dude, as of right now, he's probably the guy who's pitching the worst. Max Scherzer got back on track in the series. Maybe we have a little bit of time for him during this episode. Kevin Gausman and Dylan Cease have been frankly unreal. Patrick Corbin even got back on track in his second start of the season. Eric Lauer, you're the guy that's not holding up your end of the bargain in this situation. And I don't want to go in on a guy this hard. We are podcasters. You're a professional pitcher. I get that. But at the same time, he's hurting the team more than he's helping it. And these comments, when the team is already frustrating enough, a guy that the fan base will turn on, Eric Lauer, you do not have that much goodwill built up in Toronto that you can come around saying these things and people are just going to be on your side. And did he say that thinking people are going to be cheering for him and being yeah, Eric Lauer deserves to start. Send him and his 7 ERA out there against the top of the order one more time. Nobody wants to see that. That's the last thing I want on my TV.
Yeah, the people who might like that might be the boomers who hate the opener. They might be siding with Eric Lauer here and whatnot. But if you've been a baseball fan the past 10 years now almost, you're with this on the opener. And yeah, I don't know. I'm getting mad. I'm getting heated again. I'm done with Eric Lauer. Let's move on. Oh
yeah, no, I wish I could have a more nuanced take on him, but I'm just so mad about it.
Just keep in mind then with this character concern stuff that seems to be circling with him coming to the media, the Blue Jays have kind of built their team about that. Don't be surprised if the Blue Jays do get healthy that they then decide to either cut or find a trade partner for Eric Lauer, because I don't think they want that bad vibe, I guess, in the clubhouse. Just speculation there. I know nothing, but wouldn't surprise me one bit if it happens.
Yeah, I wouldn't hate that at all. He seems sour, and that seems like a cancer. And I don't people seem to like him last year. I don't know. I don't know anything about the clubhouse dynamics. I don't know what anybody thinks about Eric Lauer, but just the number of quotes, and then this one seemed even probably over the top compared to everything else. I've kind of had enough, and I don't know if anybody listening can tell, but me and Jesse have had enough from Eric Lauer.
Yep. And knowing exactly how this works, he's throwing 5 shutout innings against the Angels in the finale getaway day. And we'll talk about it on Wednesday, I suppose. But let's move on to something else.
Okay, so positive. Do you really know what vertigo is? I knew it was an issue, but I don't think I've ever met anyone with vertigo, or at least not that I know of. Is this a real thing that people deal with every day and you can play baseball with?
I had a coworker who had vertigo, and it affected her very bad. She couldn't even really stand up because there was something in her ear, and she looked miserable. But until she was able to get out of it, she got okay. I understand how vertigo can really affect you as a baseball player because your senses aren't quite there. And for Nathan Lucas, who we've said so much that he was swinging at everything all the time, I can really see how vertigo can prevent him from squaring up a baseball because your vision and your senses don't just line up, right? So I get how that could happen. It's a real thing. It's rare. Knock on wood. I don't think I've ever had it, but it makes a lot of sense. It's going to be very uncomfortable to deal with.
Yeah, so Nathan Lucas sees a specialist in Arizona on like the day of the game, like that afternoon, and then all of a sudden is feeling much better, gets sorted out, and goes 7 for 11 with a couple of doubles and plays awesome defense in right field, and has kind of like cemented himself as the leadoff guy probably for against righties, at least for the foreseeable future until George Springer comes off the injured list. And like, this is a guy that I've been really frustrated with. I think I said on maybe in the last podcast of the pod before, Nathan Lucas, I hate watching you play baseball because you're swinging at everything. And it turns out all of a sudden you can see the ball and he's nasty. He's back to what we expect to see from Nathan Lucas. Like, Jesse, like, I don't really have much of a take other than thank God. And it kind of led the Jays to a win today.
Yeah. I guess Arizona has the best vertigo doctors. Like, he couldn't get this done in Milwaukee or in Toronto or something. But hey, if this, like I said earlier, if this is the reason the Blue Jays go on a run and Nathan Lucas gets hot and starts carrying the team to victory, then I want that vertigo doctor brought onto the Blue Jays medical staff. Like, he absolutely deserves that.
Yeah, tip that guy Eric Lauer's salary because, like, oh my God, like the money that the Jays saved on making Eric Lauer a reliever, that $2 million or whatever it was, they can send that right to the vertigo doctor.
Mm-hmm. I agree 100%. And hey, look, credit to Nathan Lucas, right? Like, he was struggling. He was looking for something. Again, John Schneider had backed him, and his numbers still have a way to go to get back to where they was. But 3 hits in the game today, 7 in the series, got a bunch of RBIs, got some hits with runners in scoring position. Nathan Lucas, like, it's started to look good and made a good play in right field too. So it's like, hell yeah. Welcome back, Nathan Lucas. What took you so long?
Yeah, it's about time, and it could not have come at a beter time when Dalton Varsho is not playing in the last 2 games of the series, which is scary stuff because he was like your only hot hitter in Milwaukee, and then he goes down, and Nathan Lucas kind of picked up right where he left off. A little bit less power, obviously, but anytime you can go 7 for 11, like, you'll take that. Like, that's a very, very, obviously very impressive stretch of at-bats from Nathan Lucas, and keep it rolling because this is a long season, and you've got a long way to turn the train back around to where you are. So this is a good start, and getting a guy that was pretty important to the team last year going again in Nathan Lucas. I think Nathan Lucas kind of carries a lot of like the 2025 Blue Jays identity. Saw so many pitches. Like, I wish I had the pitch per at bat numbers in front of me, but I don't. But like, he's a guy that saw so many pitches, didn't strike out. The ball's always in play. Like, speedy-ish guy, gonna play solid defense. I think having him back is a real identity piece for the Jays, and I think he needs to just continue doing what he's been doing in Arizona. Obviously, hot take for me: when you're playing good, keep playing good.
Yes, I agree. I wish it was just that easy, Owen, but this is like a lot of regression coming at once for Nathan Lucas. I would like to see, I wanted to see like the home run numbers or the power numbers come up a little bit. And then he answered with 2 doubles today as his first 2 extra base hits after going 4 for 6 in the first 2 games of the series. So very good stuff from Nathan Lucas. Nothing much to add. He's going to play a lot while there's a lot of injuries, and he's probably going to stay in that leadoff spot, at least against every right-handed pitcher, until the rest of the guys get healthy.
Yeah, so like I said earlier, it is impossible for people to give baseball takes and be right about them. That's why I'm not really afraid to say what I actually think in the moment, because I know eventually I'll be wrong. And thank you, Nathan Lucas, for proving me wrong. If I bury a guy, I'm happy to be proven wrong. Like, I think what he's done like this weekend is awesome. I think it's good to see. Guy I want to cheer for. So I love to see it.
Oh, and remember, we're never wrong. We're just early.
There you go. I love it.
Perfect. All right. I did want to touch on some other offensive performances this series that I really liked. Credit to Vladimir Guerrero Jr., who had 3 hits in the game today, including a couple RBIs. He got a nice double as well, his 5th of the season. Very much like seeing that. We mentioned at the end of last episode that Vladimir Guerrero Jr. was kind of feeling the pressure a little bit, that like teams were kind of pitching around him. He wasn't getting that many good pitches to hit, and he felt like he needed to do a little bit more damage. And yes, we'd still like to see those home run numbers come up a little bit, but this was, again, another quietly just very good series for Vladimir Guerrero Jr., who I feel like once he's able to get some protection or some of the other guys around him start hitting a little bit, I do think Vlad is going to start to take off here. So I liked from what I've seen from Vlad, and I want to check his launch angle, and I will in a minute once you speak, but I like to think he's starting to hit the ball up a little bit more lately.
Yeah, so coming into today's game, like Vlad's walking more than he's striking out by like 3%. He's hitting 315. Like he's got 830 OPS. Like this dude is mashing. He's been good. The only thing I'm worried about is like one home run. Like he's only got a handful of doubles. Like Vlad only has 5 extra base hits on the season, so I don't know that I kind of agreed, and this is without me looking at any of the numbers, but that his launch angle was coming up. Like I feel like it's a lot of it is on the ground still. But this is a guy that like is a constant professional at bat, and I will give him a lot of grace because he is producing. He's been far from a nothing with the bat this season. He's been good. He has not been elite and terrifying at the plate like we saw in the playoffs, where he does not feel like a threat to hit a home run or a double every time he's off or up at the plate. But at the same time, it's hard for him to do that because he's the only threat in the Jays lineup right now. And if you're another team and I am a pitching coach or starting pitcher or reliever, and I'm looking at the Blue Jays lineup and I'm doing game plans before the series, I'm circling Vladimir Guerrero Jr.'s name in red and saying that guy cannot beat us. And that's what other teams are doing. They are not letting him beat them. And Vladdy's letting that happen, and he's passing the baton. He's taking his singles and he's taking his walks. He's getting on base. He's not striking out a lot. Like, he's been good. Would love to see him kind of pick it up just a little bit more on the power side, obviously become that aircraft carrier guy that we've seen him be, and we know he can be, and we know he is. But I think until the Blue Jays get healthy, like this might be the version of Vladimir Guerrero Jr. that we get.
Yeah, I agree. And Vlad is, to his credit, is doing the right thing. If other teams are going to pitch you like this is the best way to have success. If he starts pressing a little bit and trying to like really cause some damage, or he's going to get into a hole. We've seen this from younger Vladimir Guerrero Jr. in the past. So I really do like how he's not doing that. It will come around, like I said, when stuff gets healthier, when he gets that line of protection. But I like to see that he's doing this in the meantime, that his baseline numbers will still look very good when that power and those extra base hits start coming around.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like Vlad is going to be Vlad. I think he's a mature enough hitter at this point. Like you mentioned earlier in his career, how like he would get mired in slumps like that. Like there would be stretches where Vlad is like looking unplayable because obviously he's like the first base defense. Well, it's better. Like he did make a couple errors in this series, I believe, at least one, I think two, where he really like wasn't like, I don't know, like doesn't look locked in at first base. So we know that's a little bit hit or miss at times. And earlier in his career, he would also be a zero at the plate where he is striking out a lot and he's hitting like a million ground balls and hitting into double plays every time he's hitting with guys on base. We have not seen that version of Vladimir Guerrero Jr. in a long time. And I think he's done a lot better at raising his floor. And when he's not going 100%, he's still like a massively productive hitter. We've not seen Vladimir Guerrero Jr. going at 100% this season. He's got a 140 weighted runs created plus. Like if that's your slump, per se, like you're going to take that 10 times out of 10.
Yeah, and I'm just looking at his hit chart here too. There's still a lot of his singles have come to the opposite field. And just 2 doubles that have gone to left center. He's never really pulled anything down the left center field line unless he did it today, and I missed it today. But it would be really nice to see that from Vladimir Guerrero Jr. till he really gets going. He's still a stud. He's still fantastic. I just wanted to give him some credit because I had seen some small signs of things getting a bit better here for Vladimir Guerrero Jr.
Yeah, he's been good. This is a guy that the last couple of years has been a pretty slow starter. Like in 2024, 100 weighted runs created plus in March and April. In 2025, 116. He's at 140 right now. And like 2023 or 2024 and 2025, like he finished with like 150, 160 weighted runs created pluses. Like he's setting himself a pretty high floor. And if he gets that summer swing, that summer heat up that we've seen him get the last couple of years, like we could be in for a pretty special Vladimir Guerrero Jr. season. I always say like I need 30 homers from him. With one so far this season, I would like to see him start collecting those a little bit faster than he has been. But from what I've seen so far, like it's hard for me to be anything but happy with what Vlad's been doing. Content.
I agree. I have nothing else on Vlad. I did want to mention Kazuma Okamoto here, who finally had turned it around. Last episode, we had mentioned I'm starting to see some adjustments Kazuma Okamoto has made, and he finally had a better series here, hit his 3rd home run. of the season, got a double. He said through an interpreter post game here that he was really excited to see the Blue Jays kind of turn it around, that he got to be a part of the train that got the Blue Jays that 8th run inning. So really good to see from Kazuma Okamoto. I like the adjustments he's been making, Owen. He's finally realizes pitchers are coming at him with spin. He's learning on how to handle the spin a little bit. He had a really good challenge in this series too, and kept that aggression going. I like that. I am starting to see things turn for Kazuma Okamoto, and still a ways to go coming off that slump, but this is exactly what you want to see from a guy who's making a very big adjustment in his career.
Okay, so for me, I forget which game this was. I think this might have been I don't think it was today's game. I think it was actually the 6-2 game, the Jeff Hoffman game. But I saw him foul off a bunch of pitches, a bunch of breaking balls with runners in scoring position, and earn himself a fastball down the middle. Yeah. I think it was the Jeff Hoffman game. They're down 2-1 and late in the game. I think it's probably the 7th inning. And he fouls off a bunch of breaking balls, earns himself a fastball right down the middle, and mashes it into left field, scoring that run from second base. That is the type of approach you need to see. The swings did not look comfortable on the breaking balls at all. So I think teams kind of know what his weakness is. But what happened today? He got a hit in the first inning, scored a couple RBIs, and then later on, when it's a 8-0 game, kind of Diamondbacks are buried. He gets a breaking ball in the zone, and what does he do with it? He parks it in the over the left field fence. Very, very encouraging for me to see him know how teams want to attack him. They want to attack him with spin, and he got to it, and he did some damage on it. Jesse, that is a good start. That is the kind of thing I need to see from Kaz Okamoto. And shame on me for burying him and asking you if he wasn't the type of player the Jays thought they were getting when they signed him. 18 games in his Major League Baseball career, a pretty unprofessional question on my end. I can't lie. I'll take that on the shoulder and on the chin, that's on me. Okay. But I really liked what I saw from him this series. Obviously these things are fluid. The baseball season's a roller coaster. So he's got a long way to go to get those numbers back up, and he's still chasing 40 something % of the time. So there's work to do, but very encouraging signs from him.
Oh, and we all know that baseball's an analytical game, and we all know that it'll all average out. We know that big sample sizes matter more than small sample sizes, but come on, man. We got to tell the people what they want to hear. Kazuma Okamoto was bad right then. The world is falling apart, and we got to be the ones to deliver it to them, damn it. So no shame, no regret. We had to do exactly what we're doing, even though we both know in our souls that it is going to turn around for Kazuma Okamoto.
Yeah, that's the theme of this episode, I think, today. And
yes.
If I'm going to give a take, I am willing to be wrong. I'm going to take that on the chin 10 times out of 10. If I'm wrong, hold me accountable. I don't mind being wrong every now and then. I don't know if I've ever been right about something 100% in my life, and that's okay with me. You know what? And I'm happy to be wrong on Kaz Okamoto, and I'm not going to be happy if he kind of regresses back to what we've been seeing in the other 18 games of his Major League Baseball career so far, because I really liked what I saw in this series against the Diamondbacks.
I agree as well. Did you have another thought about any other of the offensive hitters here before I mention something that I've been thinking of here?
Eloy is maybe a guy, he's kind of on base all the time. He doesn't hit for any power, but I feel like every time I turn around, Eloy Jimenez is on base, and it's kind of weird because I don't know, he's been quite productive. Obviously the no position thing is a real issue with him, and I don't really know how you deal with that, especially as you get healthy. It's hard to carry him on the roster. It's why he didn't make the big league team coming out of spring training. But I quietly have liked the at-bats and what I've seen. He swings and misses too much, but that's neither here nor there because he's a threat, and they don't have a lot of guys who are that at this point.
Yeah, 3 singles and a walk in the 2 games he got into in this series. You'll take that. You want to see some power, but if that's your down, quote unquote, down series from Eloy Jimenez, we'll take that. It sucks because he is positionless, so as soon as Springer's back, he's kind of gone, unfortunately. But come on up, show what you can do what you can do, and life finds a way. If you keep hitting, you'll find your way back up here, and I like that from Eloy Jimenez so far.
Nice. What's your thing?
First of all, just shout out Miles Straw, another home run who got into all 3 games because of the Dalton Varsho injury. He's been pulling the ball like crazy, and his swing speed is up dramatically. So, I kind of want to see Miles Straw get into some games more. I think he's made some meaningful changes, and I really like that from Miles Straw. But my thought here is I thought this would be a good time to check in on our 2 catchers, on Tyler Heineman and Brandon Valenzuela. What is your thoughts on them now that they've been up here for a bit now? Do you still want to see Brandon Valenzuela 60-40 over Tyler Heineman, or have your thoughts changed at all from the 2 Blue Jays catchers?
I think it kind of always should have been 50-50 from them. I think honestly, and in this series specifically, you didn't notice them much, and that's exactly what you need from your catcher in 2026. Like, you're not asking your catcher to carry the load offensively unless we're talking Cal Raleigh and I was going to say Will Smith, but God, like, the Dodgers aren't even asking him to carry a load offensively because that lineup is just filled to the brim with Hall of Famers hitting in front of him. So, like, or Alondro Kirk, who hits in like the 5th spot for the Blue Jays, right? Like, those are kind of the only catchers you're asking big offensive loads from. All I want is to not notice you behind the plate. And I think in this series, both Heineman and Valenzuela were successful in that. And honestly, I don't really have a preference. I kind of lean towards Valenzuela because he's younger, and I think there's a little bit more potential there. But I think it should be a 50-50 split. I think the goal should be to keep both guys fresh.
Yes, that should be the play, and both will get experience going forward. I did want to mention, like, have you looked at Brandon Valenzuela's batting stance since he's been up here? Because they're not pretty.
Well, no, but I've seen a lot of not pretty batting stances be successful.
True, yes. He's rocking like 174 average. His WRC plus is 42. He's faced 5 at-bats against left-handed pitching so far. He's struck out in 4 of them. 2 more strikeouts. That was coming into the game today. And then 2 more strikeouts. Yeah, the home run and the 2 RBIs are nice and the 4 hits, but it's like, I'm starting to see there must be more in the tank, like a 4% walk rate and a 41% strikeout rate against Brandon Valenzuela. That's tough. I think I'm ready to let Heineman go. If I had to pick one catcher now more than the other, I'd probably go Heineman now over Brandon Valenzuela.
Okay, I'm going to play some Brandon Valenzuela defense here for you, or on you, I guess, because you're coming after my guy. And
okay, let's hear it.
He's learning a whole new pitching staff right now. He's catching,
of course.
Like, he's got, and not only is a whole new pitching staff, like, coming to a new team, but like it's a revolving door of pitchers. Like, he probably didn't really expect to be catching much of Joe Mantiply or Patrick Corbin or like Max Scherzer when he's like showed up to camp in February, and he's learning these guys on the fly. It's his first stint in the big leagues. He's a 25-year-old kid, and he's also at the same time trying to hit. Like, he's probably missing hitters meetings to be a part of pitchers meetings before series, and he's game planning with the pitchers, and he's learning what guys, not only what they throw, but when they want to throw it, how it moves. He's learning like umpires' names. It's his first stint. So yeah, the offensive numbers are ugly. He's also facing pitchers he's never seen before. So I don't know. Like, you're right. They are ugly numbers and they're bad, and you ideally want it to be better than that. But there are a lot of teams in baseball, and good teams, that can handle their catcher being a below average hitter. Maybe not, what was that, like 53% below average. But yeah, I think the ceiling, well, the floor is higher than it is right now. There will be some regression to the mean with that.
All that is true. It does take catchers longer to develop in the big leagues. This is not by far the end-all, be-all of Brandon Valenzuela. For what it's worth, Owen, 93rd percentile framer, and I think that's the stat that all Blue Jays general managers are going to look at and see that number, that he's really good. He's also in the top quarter in baseball at caught stealings above average, so the arm and the glove are very good for Valenzuela. You can kind of make up with the bat and the blocks not being there. Like, look, it took Alejandro Kirk a while. It took Danny Jansen a while, some of these best Blue Jays catching prospects, before they really got their bats going around. So I get it, but I just think in a team that really needs offense right now, it might be better to let Tyler Heineman get a little bit more of the sharing time, at least in the short term.
So you're thinking the Magic Man, who is like the luckiest hitter I've ever seen, like, you just want to let him get exposed at this point?
Hey, I don't think Tyler Heineman's good, for the record. I think he's bad too, but I think the Blue Jays have 2 very subpar offensive options behind the plate. I'd rather with the guy who, you know, on paper could give you a more professional at bat than Brandon Valenzuela, because it's the strikeouts with Valenzuela right now, which just gives you like a nothing at the plate.
That's fair enough. He's going to be stuck in the 9-hole spot, and I think if he catches a good game and you don't notice him behind the plate and he is a 93rd percentile framer, that's where he's going to be, and I think that's what the Blue Jays value.
1,000%. I'm sure if you were to ask a member of the front office, they're probably loving what Valenzuela has given them so far, and for good reason.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think I'm good on this Diamondback series. Like, can we just one more time? I know we got kind of positive there towards the end, like some positive stuff from Vlad and Lucas and Kazuma Okamoto, but like they lost this series. They are on a 62 win pace. Like it's time for them to string some wins together. Every time you win, you can't lose 4 in a row. Like it's time, Jesse, for this to get turned around. And this Angels series is, I think, when it starts.
I agree. Did we show love to Max Scherzer just before we move on to that Angels series? We don't have to go deep into it, but good start for Max Scherzer. Kind of needed it. He did the whole my location's going to be good. I'm going to do soft contact, and good stuff for Max. Kind of got buried in the lead of things here, but I just want to give him some love too because we didn't mention it.
Yeah, you're right. 1 strikeout for Max, but got through 6 innings. It looked like he kind of changed his approach and like was less worried about getting swing and miss and strikeouts, and was more worried about collecting outs, and it worked because that Diamondbacks lineup is nothing to sneeze at. There's some very good hitters in there, and he did a good job navigating it. And you and I were both pretty worried about him last time we talked, so hopefully more of that going forward for Max. Like that's, if you're 41 years old, that's probably how you should be pitching and how we'd expect you to pitch. He looks like he is 41 years old.
Good stuff there from Max. His next start will come, I believe, after the Angels series. Yes, at home against Cleveland. So we'll have that. But let's look ahead. Last 3 games of the road trip here. Last time the Blue Jays were out in LA for Anaheim, Jeff Hoffman had a big blow up, and the Blue Jays lost some late West Coast games. Angels have been one of the better teams in baseball. Mike Trout looks like he's back. Joe Adell's robbing home runs. Plus, he's hitting a few of his own. And they have some sneaky good pitchers on their pitching staff as well, albeit a loss to the Padres here today. What are we looking for from the Blue Jays in this series?
We're looking for them to win the series, Jesse.
Please, honestly, please.
It's going to be Dylan Cease on the mound against Reed Detmers. That's a guy I did not know was still pitching in Major League Baseball. I think the Angels have a lot of those guys that, like, he still plays, he's still around. The Angels have that guy. Like, this is the team that employs Alek Manoah and Jordan Romano. So Dylan Cease against Reed Detmers. It's going to be Patrick Corbin against Jack. Oh my goodness. Can you say it?
Kohanowitz.
Jack
Kohanowitz. Yeah.
Like, come on. They're giving me the hard ones. We know reading's not my forte. Okay. Eric Lauer against Jose Soriano. Do you have a prediction for the Jays here? Like, is there something specific you want to see? Keep Mike Trout at bay and score more runs than the other team?
I'm going to say the same thing I said last series. The Blue Jays are just bound to win a series eventually here. Hopefully it comes against the Angels here because it's gotta. But, like, I'm telling you, Jose Soriano, you can make the argument he's been the best pitcher in baseball so far this season. Reed Detmers has, big strikeout upside, and then Jack Kohanowitz also exists. So there is a chance here that the Blue Jays could run into some trouble. I want to see them do the little things again. I want to see them make the plays at first. I want to see them, if they have to manufacture runs, they can manufacture runs. I want to see them hit with runners in scoring position. I want to see good, clean defense and some strike throwing from our pitchers, particularly the guys out of the bullpen. If we can do all that, I believe the Blue Jays can find a way to win 2 out of 3 in this series. And maybe they just, they get BABIP to death by the other team and lose that 3rd game. But I do think it's time the Blue Jays get a series. And let's finally get another big fly here. Let's get those power bats going. Maybe we'll see a 2-home-run game from somebody here because the Blue Jays really do need that.
A 2-homer game, that's very greedy of you to ask for because the team lead right now is like 3 guys tied at 3.
Yes, but like, I believe in law of averages and all big things happen. Like, the Blue Jays are just due to have a guy have a 2-home-run game. And I don't know, maybe I'll call my shot a little bit. Eloy Jimenez, 2-home-run game.
I love it. Okay. I'm going to call my shot. I think the Jays are going to win a game with a Jordan Romano blow and save involved. I think that would be a little bit of poetic justice for the team in a weird way. I don't know. I like Jordan Romano. I'm not rooting on his downfall or anything like that, but I think the Jays need one. And I think the Jays are going to sweep this series, and they're going to be coming back to Toronto with their 10th win in hand. Well, I guess 11th win if they sweep.
That would be fantastic, Owen. I would love nothing more. And the good news is we won't have to do it against old friend Yusei Kikuchi. I do want to say a word of warning, though. Adam Frazier is on this team, and Adam Frazier has historically owned the Toronto Blue Jays. So he's probably going to be hitting ninth, or he's going to be on the bench for the Angels. But I guarantee you he's going to have a big hit or two against the Blue Jays in this series. So watch out for that.
Adam Frazier, another guy, like he still plays. Like, oh my God, this team is just filled with them.
Yeah, if this was like 2019, these Angels would be really good. Like, Yohan Moncada was really good then. Jorge Soler was hitting 48 home runs that year. Like, very good team about 5 years ago.
Yeah, no, I kind of like this Angels team. They're kind of gritty. I don't know. I'm gonna hate them watching them play, but I kind of like if there's an American League team that I had to like root for to kind of sneak in to like the wild card race, I think it'd be these Angels, and I'm kind of excited to get my eyes on Mike Trout because I'm a big fan of Mike Trout.
Yeah, me too. Who also has historically really owned the Toronto Blue Jays. So we will see. Neutralizing him would be a great idea, just like I'm sure the Angels are going to try to neutralize Vladimir Guerrero Jr. The Blue Jays have to win that battle this series to have success.
I love that. Okay. So, Jesse, thank you so much for joining me on this episode of the J Center podcast. Had fun breaking down, another series loss for the Toronto Blue Jays. If you enjoyed this episode, please give us a like, a comment, subscribe, give us 5 stars. Check out J Center. Check out the website. Lots of great articles on there. Videos from me coming shortly. Jesse's been writing up a storm. And check out me and Jesse on social media. Let us know how bad our takes have been and hold us accountable for all of the takes that we get wrong. And thank you so much, Jesse.
Cheers. This was fun. And I promise we will come back a little better, a little chipper, and not as angry in the next episode. And I want you to remember I said that if and when the Blue Jays lose another series after out in Anaheim. So thank you.
Awesome. We'll talk to you guys next time.